Good morning, everybody. Just get myself some coffee. It has been a long night and a very early morning, and I am looking haggard. So, something we try to do, oh, every week or two. Sometimes it doesn't happen very often. We try to scroll through YouTube, Rumble, various social media, and just try to find customers or content creators who have stumbled across our slides. And so we're doing a little bit of that today. Some of you know that we have worked with or do work with Delta Team Tactical. And so sometimes people get their slides through them and they make content on it. And so we're just going to kind of search through today and see what we can find. There are a couple we shared on our page, a couple content creators. They did some great builds, one with an SCT frame and one with a grit grips frame, and both came out looking great. Love the reviews. So if you guys check on our channel, check out their channels, give them a like, give them a follow. They did a pretty good job. Oh, I know whose that one is. Oh, here we go. Oh, was this the gentleman I was speaking to earlier? It might have been. Yep, that is an SM-19 Viper. Looks like to be graphite black. Right on. All right. I will have to take a lesson from DLD After Dark and keep my phone on me, just so I can see comments and whatnot. Because when I'm screen sharing or when I'm looking at something, I can't see you guys at all. Oh, no, that's interesting. So they're laser cutting the ported window rather than milling it. So we mill ours. That's an interesting way to do it. I wonder, what the time difference on cutting a window with a laser on 416 versus 17.4 is. I'd like to see that. That'd be pretty interesting. Something we also might touch on a little bit is, and a lot of you are probably already aware of it. Some of you probably not. Glock is discontinuing a bunch of models, including 19 and 17 models. So I wonder how much that is going to impact the secondary aftermarket. We got cut off yesterday when we were doing our live. We lost audio, and that was incredibly unfortunate. There we go. So I forget where I left off, but there's a lot of collaborators that we have worked with. Nope, not one of ours. Looks like Game Surplus. Ooh, shot in the face with airsoft. All right. Well, let's do the most recent. It's still being sent out, but flying rich firearms. So he's getting a slide. I believe it's the SM-19 Hellet. Red Dawn Readiness received his slide. SM-19 Viper. Jack of all trades will be receiving a slide. I did just reach out to someone we had sent a slide to a while back, back in February, and nothing ever happened with it. So reaching out to him, seeing what's up. Life hits us all. We're pretty understanding, but No, it looks like now we're getting into some Call of Duty bull crap. But yeah, every week or two, I like to scroll through here and see who has some of our slides. And sometimes you find nothing, and sometimes the last few days I have found several. Some cool people. Yeah, here we go. Rando Wayne. He did one of ours. He did a pretty good test. He did this for about 16 minutes. Took one of our slides on a grit grips frame. Dropped it at chest height a couple times. No scuffing. He threw was it either a binary trigger or a forced reset trigger on it, and ran it, and it ran great. I think out of the 200 some rounds he did, I think he had like one light primer strike, and I think he had a few failure to feeds, but he said he was using a bad magazine, or using a 40 caliber magazine instead of 9 millimeter, if I remember right. And yeah, he did a great review. We've got some other good reviews from people too. Like Got Damage. If I remember right, he's going to GunCon. He should be part of the panel. Pretty sure he's part of the panel. Let's get off there. GunCon. Birthday. Birthday. What? I'm clearly 80. There we go. All right, GunCon. Where are you at, Gamage? There he is. Yep, got Gamage. He's going to be at GunCon. He's going to be on the panel. He did a pretty good review of our SM-19 flash slide in Space War. That was a great video. Loved it. Let's see. Oh, yep, here's another one. I cannot for the life of me pronounce it. But that's also our Viper in burnt bronze on an SDT frame. Good stuff. Yeah, give his channel, give it a look. Like, comment, subscribe. Oh yeah, cool stuff. So back to the collaborations. It's we have a few new ones, but for those of us that are looking to collab, or those of you that are looking to collaborate, you got to reach out to us. Give us your plan. Let us know what you're thinking about doing. What kind of build you're doing. Are you going to use an SCT? Are you going to use a grit grips? Are you one of those lucky guys that hoarded 500 polymer 80 frames back before all the troubles? Are you going to use a PSA, a Glock OEM? Let us know what you're going to use. Are you going to use an optic? Are you going to use a Hollow Sun, a Gideon Optics, an SRO, whatever you're going to use? What kind of parts kit are you using? What kind of barrel using? Just OEM. You can go with an ELD. Maybe go over to AIM Surplus and grab one of their barrels. Let us know what you're planning on doing. What is that? Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, he was had a bad magazine and got a failure to feed or fire. And yeah, that'll happen. And sometimes people think that's from the build, and it really isn't. Don't get me wrong, it can be because of the build. It's just more often than not, sometimes you have bad ammo. Maybe the weapon needs to be cleaned. Maybe you've got to check on your parts kit. Maybe you've got to polish your rails. Maybe you need to check for burrs. Have you sanded your frame? Like if you're doing a custom frame, like a Polymer 80, something like that, an 80%. Have you sanded everything properly? Because we get more than a few. I'm so happy that there are a lot of new shooters out there. There's a lot of new builders, um, but a lot of them think it's unfortunately like you can just slap it together and it works instantly. And sometimes you have to do a little bit of troubleshooting, right? Go through it and see, hey, why is this happening? Why am I getting this issue? Why am I getting that issue? A real common one we get is, you go to put a red dot on one of the slides, and a lot of people don't know that there's two different screws, and each screw is a slightly different size. And so they put the longer screw on the right side and they tighten it all the way down. And then all of a sudden they find themselves having problems because that screw is riding the internals. And quick thing, one of the first things we ask them is, hey, pull both of the screws out and tell us, is the longer one on the right side? And they go, oh, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, swap them. And all of a sudden they have no issues. So, oh, we're getting some like comments. So actually, I think he was one of the ones from one of our slides. We used to get this a while back. A lot of people didn't know, especially because we've only been around for a little over 2 years. A lot of people didn't know who we were. So when they bought one of our slides from a gun shop or through an online retailer or distributor, um, sometimes they would think that's the person who made it, and they never dug any questions. They never asked, like, "Hey, who made this? Where can I get more?" Because even some of our gun shops and some of the distributors that we sell to, they do not have all the colors that we offer, or even all the slide models we offer. There's one in northern Arizona that they had. The last ones we sold to them were flash slides. We'll have to hit them up again, see if they want more. Um, there's three more in Arizona, actually, also that I think we sold flashes and Vipers too. And I don't think they got the Zoom or the Hellet or killing myself here. The Turbo. The Turbo is fairly new, so yeah, they definitely didn't get the Turbo. And then none of them have the 17. Correction, one of them, not in Arizona. They're out of Utah. They will have the 17 soon, and you'll start seeing that show up online, and maybe you'll see some show up in a few stores, a few gun shops here and there. So when we first started, a lot of people figured, if they brought it from random online retailer that we had sold to in the past, they thought they were the manufacturer. And honestly, that really didn't bother us in the beginning. It became an issue when it started fights. People would get on and go full keyboard warrior because it's like being a fan of a football team or a hockey team, right? My team's better than your team. My gun shop's better than your gun shop. My website's better than your website. My brand is better than your brand. And so people would go, oh, well, I have this. It's better than you. And someone says, oh, well, hey, actually, this company makes that. And they go, no, they don't. Back and forth, back and forth. And all of a sudden, we're getting angry emails and messages on Instagram and Facebook. And they're like, you guys are a bunch of liars and so on. It's pretty funny looking back. But at the time, we were just confused as hell. Like, hey, man, we're just trying to make slides here. Like, if people relabel them down there, like, we can't really stop a whole bunch of that. Sell them to some random gun shop in, I don't know, pick a state, Tennessee, and then the gun shop gets them, and they're like, okay, well now I'm going to add a parts kit and a barrel, and now these slides are complete, and I'm calling them, the Tennessee Special 19. We're going to call them T19s, right? I'm not going to know that they did that or even care as long as they bought it, really. Oh, nice. So I'm supposed to be. I'll have to check that out. It is Sunday though, so I'm not betting on a lot of viewership or much. Most of today is going to be admin. Um, I do have to try and go to a gun shop, or sorry, a indoor range slash gun shop, and I have got to test a slide. Customer was having an issue, and so we're going to try and troubleshoot things for them. They couldn't figure it out on their end, so we're going to go through it and see what's up. Uh, I'm hoping it's just a simple parts kit issue or a firing pin issue, and we can just figure out what's wrong and send it right back to them and get them on their way, and they can go right back to the range. Oh yeah, here's a nice one here. One of our Vipers in graphite black. Got a hollow sun on it. Gold barrel. The gold and the black always looks good. Oh, here's Rando Wayne again. Yep. Actually, let's just pull his channel right up. Yeah, here's his 16-minute. I think he did a few shorts. He's got a bunch of other stuff too. He's got knives on here, revolvers, rifles, all kinds of cool stuff. G-Flex triggers. Okay. Trying out random stuff from Timu. Okay. Yeah, give him a look. Give him some likes. Get him to 6,000 followers. Help the guy out. Ah, cool gun case. There we are. Oh, yep. Bronze Viper. I need to do another case. We got to do another case for slides. When we go out and talk to people, it's just like this little Pelican case, foam insert, somebody cut out, and we just show up with a bunch of different colored slides, different models. Like, hey, check this out, and we've got to make another one. But yeah, guy's got a bunch of stuff on his channel. Give him a look. Pretty cool. Hey, D Dog, what's going on, man? Jansen. Just doing a quick live talking about the scrolling we do on Sundays. Uh, Mostly just seeing who has some of our slides, and are they gun content creators? Are they just some random guy who likes building, like showing his stuff off? You know, scrolling through and checking out who's got our stuff. Might go to the range later. Might do a short video on that later. I've got to test out a customer slide, so we got to see if everything's going right there. Guy's having some issues, and he couldn't troubleshoot it on his end, so we're gonna try and help him out, see if we can figure out what's going on. There we go. Hey, Kurt 24. Oh, and I am on like 4 hours of sleep, if that. So it is a coffee day today. But it's really good, interesting just scrolling through, and you gotta look for it right, because sometimes people don't know. I mentioned that earlier in the live. People don't know that the slides are ours, especially because we've only been around for 2 years, and we've sold. God, we hit 20,000 slides by now. I have to check the machine and see what we're at, but almost 100% that we're at 20,000, and we've sold those all off to distributors, to vendors, to gun shops. And so sometimes people make the mistake of, they bought it from this website or this vendor, this dealer, this whatever. And they're like, oh, well, hey, this slide is theirs. And then they get on Reddit, they get on Facebook, and they see someone else with the same slide and they're like, oh, hey, that's a nice, whatever slide. And they're like, no, I got this from this company. And But no, I don't really care, man. I'm just making slides. As long as we get paid, who cares? But it becomes like a rivalry thing, where people are like rooting on their sports team or something, or they're like, well, no, the this vendor's the best, this website's the best, these guys did this, and then we get hate mail and messages where they're just like, you guys are a bunch of liars. You took this stuff and copied it, and I'm just like, dude, I'm just trying to make some slides. Goddamn. Uh, that was weird. And it went on for a while, watching people do that. And sometimes, businesses have agreements with each other, so they can or can't talk about certain things. Um, and we've had a few of those where we can or can't talk about certain things. So it's like people think we're ignoring them, and it's just like, no, man, I just can't comment at this time. Not until I go and talk to the guys and talk to the staff and talk to the business we have a relationship with and say, hey, so and so asked this question. You know, it's not entirely uncommon, but it pops up from time to time. Oh yeah, I heard you were working nights now, Kurt. Man, I mean, we're still working nights, but it's not like it was. It's more like we're working all day and then a tool breaks, and then we're coming in at night and replacing a tool, and we're kind of working nights. Talking about a few people we're collaborating with as well because we got cut off the other day, something with our audio, and the three most recent. It's going to be Flying Rich Firearms. I'll probably have them tagged in here in the description. I'm sure I've tagged them previously. Red Dawn Readiness and Jack of All Trades. Each one's getting a different model. Rich is getting a Hellet. Uh, Red Dawn he already has it, so you can see it on his channel. He got a Viper, and Jack of All Trades, he's getting a Zoom slide. Uh, Jack of All Trades and Red Dawn, they're getting two camo variants, and Rich is getting one of our Space Warrants. Yeah, yeah, I liked his little short video on it. And he's doing a whole camo theme thing right now with like kind of woodland OCP style type stuff. So I think that's really going to fit with what he's working on. Zanti, a 5 round. What is this? California 5 round magazine. Actually, no, I do have an old hunting rifle. It's a polymer composite rifle, so it's good for like in the rain if you're out hunting. And it's a 3 round magazine plus one in the chamber for 30-06. But the magazine is completely flush with the rifle. So that is the smallest magazine I own. Oh yeah, yeah. That was one we did with Superior Triggers. So that's our Vipers. The color itself is I want to say H224 Sig Pink. I can pull that up. As for why it's called Sig Pink, I do not know. Yep, H224. And the other one that was with it was Graphite Black H146. And they do laser porting for barrels and stuff now. It's pretty cool. We've actually interacted with them quite a bit over the last couple of years, on and off, mostly because of all the issues with Reddit, and linked up on Instagram and whatnot. And earlier I was talking about we had a guy we sent a slide to back in February, and his YouTube channel went down, I believe, and we haven't heard anything from him. Um, we know we got the slide, just he never did anything with it, never updated us. So that sometimes happens, unfortunately. DL slide with Dick Forts. That'd be fun. I don't know. We have his PO box. I mean, I just got to see kind of. I like to send people a slide when they have a build in mind, you know. So I'd love to see what Dark has in mind for a build, and then we'll hook him up from there. Like we hooked up with Red Dawn for he wanted to do initially he wanted to do a Space Warren just like Rich. They both like that one. Um, but when he started doing his whole camo setup, like you've seen his belt and you've seen his rig and everything, we switched over to camo. So I think that'll complement his gear and his build pretty well. So I don't know what Dark will want. Maybe we'll do a hot pink. We'll get him Sig pink just for Dark. Actually, yeah, we'll probably be doing something here with Chanson as well. So we just got to get we get requests all the time. Unfortunately, we had to pause our collaborations while we were working on the 17, and we were focusing on taking care of customers, taking care of our distributors, and building this damn thing. So every single slide actually had a purpose for a while there. Every single one. Now we can start doing a little bit of collaborating again. Actually, Kurt, you got one of the last stormtroopers we ever made. So we switched over. Actually, this is one of them. So we switched over from Stormtrooper White to Arctic White, and there's still some Stormtroopers flying around out there, but yeah, we switched over to Arctic White. So you got one of the last of them. Rich Sports. No, he got a. Oh, I do have a helmet. Not Space Warren, but this is the one that Rich will be doing. So no porting. And we might be doing a slide swap for Poppy the Gun Guy. Some of you might have seen our live content on that, where if someone's got a messed up slide, like this one right here, where it's all marred up, or there's something wrong with it, like those rock slides that keep cracking or whatever. If you know somebody who's got a really jacked up slide, or who just they don't like it for whatever reason, maybe they got a Glock 23 and they freaking hate it, and they want to switch to 19. Have them reach out to us, and we might be able to do a swap for them. We try to keep it looking as similar to like what they wanted. Like one guy had something with really aggressive cuts, so before the Leonidas was on hiatus, we swapped him for one of these. For this one that was messed up, we swapped them for one of our zooms, since it was non-ported slide for a non-ported slide. Poppy might be sending us a ported one, so we'll probably send him a turbo. Oh, so yeah, we got banned from Reddit not long after we were talking with him, and so I wonder if maybe he thought we were like trying to fool him or something. Which honestly isn't an unreasonable suspicion, right? Like here's this guy saying, "Hey, we'll trade slides with you," and then all of a sudden they get banned on Reddit. So I'm sure he had his suspicions, and we would have liked to have it. I kind of want to create like a wall of broken slides. I do want like other companies broken slides that we've traded out for ours, and we'll have that in the shop and go, "Yep, swapped for this. Yep, customer still has it. They're happy." Yeah, Reddit was probably the most followers we ever had on any platform, the most people we ever interacted with on any platform, and it sucked when we got banned from that because we lost access to all these groups that we were communicating with, and some of them did not like Facebook or did not like Instagram, or they did all of their communication through Reddit, and we completely lost track of everything there. and so that really hurt individual sales and communication with people. And Reddit has rules on who can and who cannot post for selling, just like Meta does. And the rules are pretty much if you're a business, it's okay, which we are. But getting an intelligent Reddit administrator is a difficult task, just like getting an intelligent, you know, YouTube or Meta administrator when it comes to gun content is a difficult task. You can tell they've probably never actually read their policies, or that they're just going off what they think they should be doing rather than the policy. Oh yeah, they've got rules. They got a lot, and the issue is there's really no appealing. Like you can appeal, but there's no process to like, hey, let's have a dialogue. Let's explain. Like let's get into an email chain, or let's get on a phone call, or let's get on an instant message and do some back and forth so we can explain this situation. You get one shot at an explanation, and you don't know who's going to review it. You can't answer questions or go through anything. Oh, hey, Carlo. And they just make a decision, and you're fucked. And that's what happened to us. We got banned with. I think we had access to like 250,000 people, and we had probably some of our higher individual sales at the time because of that, interacting with all these different communities. And we were interacting with gun communities in almost every state. Not New York, not New Jersey. Washington was okay for a little bit. Some of those guys up there are FUD freaking central. They hate outsiders coming in trying to sell anything, but then they bitch, whine, and moan that they don't have anything. They're like, oh, well, we can't get this in our state now. Woe is us. But they will attack anyone else trying to bring stuff in. So some seriously retarded ass FUD mentality up in Washington. Not all of them. Not all of them. Definitely not. Some of them were really great people, some great businesses, but damn, is their page infested with some weirdos. Florida, too, of all places, weirdly enough. Um, like interstate commerce with some of these groups is just something they do not like. They're like, no, it's got to be local. And I get it. We're in the middle of trying to work out patches, shirts, hats, stickers with a local shop. And we get it. Working locally is awesome, but not everybody does everything locally. And so sometimes you've just got to, communicate with everybody from other states. Oh, okay. 23 to 19. Wasn't the 23 a 40 cal? So you'd have to use, like a converted barrel? Oh, okay. Oh, I think we worked with Tag Precision once. We did a giveaway through NDG training. We gave away one of our slides. I think it was a NRA Blue Zoom. Yeah. Okay. Actually, that's one. I can't remember if Crump or Dark or any of them discussed the discontinuation of Glock slides. So they're discontinuing a bunch of models. And they announced it like a month ago. But Glock is discontinuing a bunch of models, and I'll just I'll post that up here. So yeah, Glock 17 Gen 4, 17 MOS Gen 4 and 5, 17L Gen 3, also the MOS Gen 5, Glock 19 Gen 4, MOS Gen 4, Glock 20 3 and 4, Glock 21 Gen 3 and 4, Glock 21 short frame, Glock 22 Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5, MOS Gen 5. God damn. Don't police departments still? I think police departments still use the 40 cal Gen 22. or Glock 22. Glock 23 Gen 4 and Gen 5, along with the MOS Gen 5. Glock 24, Glock 26 Gen 4, Glock 27 Gen 3 through 5, 29 Gen 3 through 5, and along with the short frame. 30 3 through 5, 31 3 and 4, 32 3 and 4, 33 3 and 4, 30. The 30s. Wasn't that the when Glock tried to do their own 45 caliber, or was that the 38 series? Glock 31. I forget. Uh, yeah, 35 3 and 4, along with the MOS Gen 4. 36, 37 3 and 4, 38 and 39. All the long frames, the 40, 41, 49. Just fuck, they are discontinuing a lot. That's a lot of discontinuations. The A cut? I don't know. The plans right now are to finish the 43. Well, we've got to finish doing our 17, work on the 43, and then from there we might do the 26, or we might do a SIG. Not sure. And then from there do Gen 5. But yeah, I'm not sure on that. Well, I wonder if they're just focusing on later models. Like they're going to just start focusing on the 45, the 47, the 48. And with I think honestly, if California could ban the Gen 3, I wonder if Glock would abandon the Gen 3, because California and a couple other states, they've banned their citizens from owning Gen 4 and Gen 5, and so they're just locked into Gen 3. So I wonder if they finally get rid of that for those states, or God, I hope not. If Glock will then just say, yeah, screw it, we're not supporting Gen 3 anymore, besides warranties and issues like they announced with that discontinuation. Though I do also wonder how long before they do a new generation that's not as compatible. Like you can see, like with the Glock 19 Gen 3, you can fit that on a Glock 45 Gen 5. You just got to swap it. A direct energy model. Go all demolition man. Where's all the phaser guns? Oh, I know this one gets brought up every once in a while. We're not going to do the combat cut. I know. I know some people want it or like it. We're not going to do it. And there it is. Combat cut. I think we'd actually talked about that with J3 and RTT guns and gear for a minute too. So you got your co-witness cut, which is what we do now. The combat cut has no rear sight, and the no co-witness is, well, sorry, combat cut has no rear sight, and they put the rear sight in front of the optic cut. And the no co-witness is just no rear sight at all, and it's just an optic cut. And we're gonna stick with the co-witness, where there's going to be a rear iron sight and then an optic cut. So yeah, we are not doing the combat cut at all. We are definitely not doing the no co-witness sight. Yeah, they are, and I think I can't. I know we had a conversation about that with Red Dawn and Dark. Is we think they were trying to compensate for the aftermarket community, all the aftermarket manufacturers. Like that's where we get ours. We have this quasi Gen 3 plus slide where it's ported, it's got the optic cut, not an MOS, obviously, and then it's got front and rear serrations, which I know they touted as a big thing for the Gen 4 to Gen 5. Oh, hey, look, we have front serrations. And then some of them will have MOS and some of them will have just nothing. God, Cali. I remember every few years they talk about dividing Cali into 2 or 3 states, just so Northern California can get away from the insanity. I hope that happens to them. It'd be nice. Then there's that whole was that Greater Idaho movement? Is that still going on? Where they want to take a chunk out of Oregon and make it part of Idaho? I know some people in New York would like that. A lot of the people who live outside of the city, they love to cast off, become their own state, or join another state. Yeah, co-witnesses definitely. I don't know. I would like to shoot a combat cut. I would just to see how it is, but a lot of things just tell me that is not the way. And I know some people like it, and I could be wrong. I don't proclaim to know everything about shooting. I have experience shooting. Did quite a bit of it for the army. Did some competitions, and but that does not make me an expert in all facets of shooting and marksmanship and gun building. So I could be wrong. Maybe it's a great concept, but we just look at that and go, no, no, we're not doing that. That and there's no huge demand for it. It's like the Glock slides that are the Glock models that runs 357 Sig. That's a dying cartridge. Police departments have gotten rid of it. Nobody's really using it anymore. So when Glock was started discontinuing things, that made sense that they were discontinuing that, along with their weird 45 caliber cartridge. What do they call that? The Glock automatic pistol cartridge, I think it was 45 Glock, and nobody really accepted it because we already have 45 ACP. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. And we get people that do that a lot. They're like, "Hey, Stiffler, why haven't you made this?" Yeah, yeah, 45 gap or Glock automatic pistol cartridge, I think is what it stands for. And you have to make what the people are demanding for. And when we first started, we looked at, what are people in demand for. We could start with Smith and Wesson, we could start with Sig, or we could start with Glock, or we could try and do 1911. And we're like, okay, no, we're going to do Glock. It's in the top 10 consistently. Now, which model? Glock 19. It's that nice little in between, right? It's not a full size, not like a 17. It's not a long slide like a 34 or a 17 long, but it's hardly compact like a 26. You can carry it or you can conceal it. So we started with the 19. It made sense and it got us sales. And now we're about to test the waters with the 17 and just see how much people really wanted it. And we keep getting told a lot that people want it, but I've also got people that tell us, "Hey, when are you going to make a Sig P320?" And all of a sudden, we have these issues with Sig. So I don't know. We might make the M17 variant of it, and we might make a 365, and maybe it will sell. But if we listen to every single person, we had someone telling us, "Or make a Ruger P89 because nobody's making them." I'm like, well, yeah, nobody's making them because there's no demand. As much as I like the Ruger SR series, I like the SR9, the 9E, the SR9C, the SR45, the SR1911. I like all of them. Um, there's no demand for me to all of a sudden start making Ruger SR slides. And so I've seen some of our competitors and some of our peers where they chased what some rando person was asking them to do, and they lost money on it, a lot of money. They went out and made, they got the steel, right? These big old chunks of steel, and they bought 100, 200, 500 bars, and that cost them quite a bit of money. And they then went and made them into slides, and then nobody bought them. And so now they are stuck with a bunch of these slides that nobody wanted, except one guy. And here's the real kick in the daddy bag: the one guy who demanded you make this slide, all of a sudden doesn't have the funds to buy one or two of them. He's like, "Oh, okay, maybe I'll get the money next time." Like, "Oh, it's cool, you guys made it. That's really great." We used to get harassed by a guy who wanted us to make something for Sig, and at the time, and even kind of now, we're still looking into it now. Like, we have, now that we're with the Glock 17 slides, and we have the capability to make these SIGs, we still don't know if they're going to sell if we do make them. Oh, with the M&P 2.0. Yeah, we've considered that one as well, and a few others. And some people ask if we're going to get into the AR builds, and that market is so saturated. I don't know if we should. Maybe we should, but I'm not sure. Oh dear sweet Christ, what is this? Interesting. Well, that's going to be something to deal with later. It's always something. Okay. Okay. Yep. Tracking that. Tracking that. Even on the weekend, it never ends. Yeah, probably. More than likely. And yeah, I'm not sure it would be that profitable. And there's so much competition with it already. Well, I mean, I don't ever really want to rule anything out unless it just seems like it's absolutely not profitable. Yeah, yeah, I actually do. Occasionally, we get people reach out about 1911s, and they usually what it is they want some sort of porting or comp slide. Sometimes they do want them like with the Gen 5s with the front serrations, but most of the time it's some kind of porting and optic cut. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to deal with that. Wonderful. My Sunday just changed. I don't know. We kind of want to do one guy told us he didn't think we could do 1911, so we kind of want to do them just because of that. But I don't know. I don't know if we'll end up doing it or not. Probably not. Yep, this just changed my whole Sunday. 5372. Okay, there we are. Most popular, the Viper, which that one has a funny story with it. Is we didn't plan on making this initially. Um, we got reached out to by another company, and they wanted a slide like this, and we made about 200 of them. And when it came time, and that means everything. We ordered the steel, uh, ordered 200 of these bars. We ordered the end mills. We ordered all kinds of stuff, right, to make this happen. And then the machines ran, and then we went through and deburred everything and sanded everything. Cerakoted it all and got the RMR covers installed and everything to go off, ready to go. Bought the packaging, so the bubble wrap and the boxes and whatever. And then they didn't want them yet. And they're like, well, we're not sure. And it's like, we just spent a crap ton of money making all these. Like, we need to sell them to recoup our losses. And they weren't ready for it. So, we said, hey, if you guys buy them, or we have to sell them. We have to go find individual people to sell them to. And that's what we did. And now it is our most popular slide. People like it. Fits ported barrels well. It's got the RMR cover or RMR optic cut, and it's also got a partial front serration. So people like it. It sells very well, and it's almost like a good bad thing it went the way it did, because we would have been making the slides for that company, which at the time we'd have been very fine with, because that's the whole plan as a manufacturer. Looping back to like earlier about people getting all crazy. Um, about brand names and whatnot. We want to sell to distributors and to gun stores, and we're a manufacturer. We don't necessarily want to do a huge retail. Like if you go to the Glock website, you can't really buy individual Glocks from Glock. They send everything else out to distributors and vendors. Not that we won't always have our retail store, which we will. It's I want to sell 500 units that are great quality to this business or that business. And then if people come in and they're like, hey, I want, this random slide or two of these or five of those. Yeah, sure, definitely. Um, but I want to get into the bigger, like when we were at peak right before summer, we were doing several hundred slides a week. And I want that. I want that all the time. And that is the ultimate goal, is to be making several hundred slides for somebody. Yeah, white labeled for everyone. We were white labeled when we first started, and now we grew to a point where white labeling isn't. It's causing more issues than it's solving. Because again, people, like that tribal mentality, right? They're reaching out. They're like, "Hey, no, that's this company's slide." And they're like, "No, it's that company's slide." So on and so on. And it's just like, you know what? It's the manufacturer's slide. And there's still people to this day that are like, "No, no, I bought this. That's what this is." And white labeling is so insanely common that people can't comprehend it. It's nuts that they can't comprehend it. Mm, we have something like woodland, but I don't know about mossy oak. We might have it on the site actually. Let's see, camo. Share screen. I need to get another screen so that I don't have to deal with the massive tunnel. Okay, here we go. And there we go. And there we go. Here we are. All the different kinds of camo. Oh, seriously? That's annoying. That's the OG camo. It's like our kind of woodland camo. This is what Jack of all trades and what Red Dawn Readiness are getting. Or Red Dawn already has his, but looks pretty good with a copper or bronze barrel. Oh yeah, I'm sure they do. Yeah, and we might still end up white labeling in the future. It's just for the first real big one we did, it created so many issues that we were answering emails almost every day about white labeling, and people got so angry about it. Oh, for camo for Cerakote, yeah, we do all of our Cerakote in house. Yeah, yeah, copper looks great on a white slide. Yeah, we built our well. This is our what third Cerakote booth. So we built one, and then when we moved, we built a second one, and then we tore the second one down, and then we built a third one that's even bigger. It can handle more slides and more painting, and it's like its own whole sealed setup. So the whole painting area is completely separate from the machining area, which is separate from the sanding area, so that there's no cross contamination from like the sanding media or from any of the coolant and metal chips or from the paint area. So we've got them all separated from each other. And I've seen a few setups where I know of one setup. It doesn't exist anymore, but I knew of one setup where their painting and their sanding and their machining was all done in one big room, and there was cross contamination because coolant gets in the air, and then while you're painting, it sticks to the Cerakote, and they had an incredibly small oven at the time, so you have freshly painted slides that are just sitting there waiting for their turn in the oven after an hour or two or three, and so it caused issues for that for them. Like you really do have to keep, especially for the Cerakote one, you have to keep everything. We have filters, we've got fans and airflow. You just got to keep it clean, and you've got to keep it well ventilated. Oh yeah, they do. I wonder if we have one listed actually. We have what's well, not OD green. It's Jesse James Eastern Front green, or just Jesse James green for short. And that looks great with a copper barrel. No, we only have it posted with a black barrel, but still, it looks pretty good. Whoop, there we go. Jesse James Eastern Front green. That would be interesting. We do have a mil spec OD green, but I think unless we might have gotten new colors for it. Let me see here. OD. Nope, maybe we have it under mil spec. No, we still got to get some new photos of it. Something about the lighting in that just does not do it justice. All right, well, I have got to get off and take care of this issue that is going to change my whole Sunday. So, good talking with you guys. Check out some of the people we talked about for the collaborations. Some of you are interested in doing collaborations. Reach out to us. All right, thanks, guys. Have a great Sunday.